Hey guys, I got a request to do a video about how I am setting up my presets in the Line 6 Helix. I'm running the Helix in tandem with my Mesa Boogie Mark V amp. So the Helix is acting as kind of the control center. And so I'm going to show you guys how I set up a patch to control the Mark V and also to control effects using the snapshot feature in the Helix. So let's check it out. Alright, so we've got a blank preset here on the Helix. You should check out the video link in the description so you can see how I've wired these two, the Helix and the Mark V, together so that your channel changing is going to work. If you have any questions, check out that video. So with the blank preset, we're just going to have channel 1 on the Mark V. No reverbs, no delays, nothing but the clean amp sound. So what I like to do when I'm building these presets is I'll put in all the blocks, all the effects that I'm going to want to use, leave them all bypassed, and then just create each snapshot once the preset itself is built. So let's build 2 clean channels, or 2 clean sounds, 2 dirty sounds, and 2 lead sounds. And we'll do a clean and a mod for each of those. So if we start out, I like to have a volume pedal on. Now with our mod sounds, let's grab a chorus, a flanger, and a phaser. And I'm going to bypass these as I go. I don't want all of them on right now because I'm going to change what's on per snapshot. So we've got our modulations. Let's go ahead and grab some delays. So let's get like a slapback delay in there. For a slapback, I like to set it at around 100 to 110. Let's grab some ambient delays for our clean sound. So let's set an 1/8 and a dotted 1/8. And we can tweak these later. I'm just getting the actual blocks on there. Let's grab a sweep echo, which we'll use for our modulated dirty sound. We'll move everything down to path 2A, so this will just continue right on down there. Now let's put on a couple of tape delays. We'll do a 1/4 and an 1/8 for our lead sound. Let's put a couple of reverbs on here. Let's do a room reverb and a hall reverb. And that will do for all the blocks we're going to use. You can do more or less than this depending on what you need for a patch. But again, I like to just put everything on there, so now when we're building the snapshots, you can just turn on and off what you want. So, like I said before, we've got our clean, just amp sound right now. For our basic clean sound, let's go ahead and just turn on a little bit of reverb. There's a good basic clean sound. So let's go ahead and save the snapshot. We're going to hit the preset button. Over here we hit rename snapshot. And I'm just going to call it C for clean, which is snapshot 1. And normally I'd go through and name these whatever section of the song I'm using, but for time we'll just do this. So let's move on to snapshot 2. And let's make our mod clean sound. So let's grab a phaser. Let's grab our clean delays that we set up before. And let's also increase the amount of reverb that's on this. So what you can do is you can change specific parameters of any of these blocks on a per snapshot basis. You do this by pushing in the parameter knob and then turning. when you see these parentheses appear and the numbers turn white, that means that this parameter is going to change depending on how you've set it per snapshot. So I'm going to make a little bit bigger room for a clean delay here. And we've got our delays on there, we've got our phaser on there. So there's our second sound. Let's go ahead and save this as C2, clean 2. Okay, so we've made 2 clean sounds. Let's go ahead and move to snapshot 3. I'm going to bypass those effects now that we aren't using those. Now, to set up a channel change, you'll have to make sure that you're wired correctly. So again, check out the video in the description, which will show you how this is all wired together to make sure your channel changes work. What you're going to do is hit this button here next to save, go to the command center. Now, I like to do this on foot switch 9 and 10. You can do it on any foot switches you want, but what you're going to do is turn the command to external amp. Tip is 1, and I'm going to go ahead and just rename this 2 because it's going to switch to channel 2, and in this case I'm renaming foot switch 9. For foot switch 10, we'll go ahead to external amp, ring, and I'm going to call it 3 because it's going to switch me to channel 3 on the Mark V. So currently, without either of those engaged, we're on our clean sound, we've got our reverb there. When I hit the 2, we've now moved to channel 2 on the Mark V. So let's go ahead and set up a snapshot here. I am going to change the reverb so it's much less present. We need a shorter reverb for a tight rhythm sound. So here's what we have. There's a good rhythm sound. So let's go ahead and save this one as D for dirty. And let's go ahead and set up a dirty mod sound. So let's turn on, we'll use a flanger for this, and then we'll go grab our sweep echo that we set up before. I've made a mistake. We're still on snapshot 3, so what I'm going to need to do is turn those off, or it's going to save what I did to this. So let's switch to snapshot 4, and then we will turn those on. At this point, let's go ahead and switch to the hall reverb so we get a bigger sound for bigger chords. Here's what we have. So there's our dirty mod sound. So I'm going to call that D2, dirty 2. Now let's move on to snapshot 5. Go ahead and bypass those. And let's make our lead sound. So the first thing we got to do is go to pedal board mode, hit the mode switch, hit foot switch 3, or foot switch 10, sorry, which I've renamed 3. And that's going to put us to channel 3 on the Mark V. So for our first lead sound, let's just give it a little bit of slapback delay. Let's put on some chorus. There's a basic lead. And let's just name this L for lead. We'll turn these off for our second lead sound. Oh, I made the mistake again. We're still in snapshot 5. So let's move to snapshot 6. Turn those off. Turn on our 2 delays. Let's go ahead and turn up the reverb a little bit. So So now we have channel 3, no mod, with 2 delays on it. There's our second lead sound, so let's go ahead and save that as L2. So now we've set up 6 different snapshots that are going to change drastically our sound from a dry clean through to a dry rhythm to a modulated rhythm with delays to 2 different lead sounds. We've got a whole lot going all within one preset, and these are all changeable by hitting just one button to change the snapshot. So I can move from our dry clean to our mod clean to our dry dirty to our mod dirty to our lead 1 to our lead 2. And you can see the blocks themselves are changing, the parameters on the blocks that we've told to change are changing. It's a very powerful feature that the Helix allows you to do. If you have any questions about how I've set this patch up, about different things that you can do with it, let me know. I've set up a whole lot of different patches this way and done some pretty crazy things. If you have any questions about the setup, again, check the link in the description. That'll run you through all the gear and the cabling. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel. If you have questions, leave them in the comments, and I'll see you guys next time.